later on. They show up, they do what's expected, and that's it. They're not gonna go above and beyond their Call of Duty. But that's a personal choice, right? Who you hire and who you have. We select people, and I'll get to that, later, because this was the defining moment for us. We select people that care because they're more easy to train and get them to where we want to be. Yes. And please forgive me, I cannot see your name.
It's James. You'll probably answer it later. I'm just curious where, so that's great to identify that when you're hiring. Mm-hmm. Let's say you have someone in your organization already that you've identified is competent, is a performer, but isn't engaged in that way. Like, what do you do as an organization? Do you put them in a non-customer facing role, or do you actively exit them from the company once you've identified that?
So, great question, James. So, going back to 1985, when they came back and said, look, you have 40% of your population that they're competent, but they just really don't care, they don't genuinely care. What do you think we did with them? Huh?
Move them to accounting.
Move them to accounting? Is that why accounting today?
No, it's a company. Like, we take them out of a customer-facing role quickly, and then I don't know.
They're just doing another job. They don't care about that.
You don't want that culture. I think the point is going to be they don't want that culture, so they remove.
Absolutely.
Right, we unleash their talent to the competition.
Yeah.
No, it's a good strategy. No, what we did was we put them in an action plan, right? Because what's happening back there is as important, I would say more important than what's happening out here. Because that's the heart of the business back there, right? If the heart of if the support teams do not master service excellence, the customer is going to feel that whomever's in front of them, right? So it's not about, okay, yeah, I mean, you're not good with customer service, let me move you back here. Granted, there are some people that are better, right, at talking to people, being face to face, but that doesn't mean that it's about the caring, right? You could have a serious introverted person, they're still good at customer service, right? But it's about, do they care or do they not care? Because if they don't care, I would have moved them to another position because, I mean, do you like to work with people that genuinely don't care?
I was just being colorful. Like, it's important in our accounting because we discuss in our organization too that you may not be customer focused, but if you have a relationship with another division in your company, they're still a customer. So even though they may not be customer focused, retail, every one of the dealerships is their customer, so they have to be. So I was just being colorful with that.
Yeah, we train our ladies and gentlemen, all of them, as if they were face to face with the customer. Because think about a housekeeper. How many of you wait around in a room for the housekeeper to come so you can chit chat with her? No, seriously, how many of you do that? Nobody does that. But yet, this is the most vulnerable, private place of you. That's your money, that's your personal stuff in there. But you're not there waiting for her to chit chat with her, right? But you trust, right? That when that person walks into your room, that you are protected, that you are safe, the basics of service, right? So how does a person put their signature in the job that they do even though you're not talking to them? So every employee in Ritz-Carlton goes through the same training, regardless. Because at some point, that employee will be face-to-face with the customer. And that's what we call a moment of truth. What's it gonna be, right? So if it happens that I just so happen to be in front of the customer, I have to hit it on point just the same way as somebody, face-to-face. So what happened was that we put everybody in an action plan, and we said, look, we're not mean people. We just said, look, moving forward, this is who we are moving forward, and we want all of you to join us. We trained everyone, and you know what really happened? A lot of them self-selected themselves out. Because fully engaged employees want to work with fully engaged employees. Bitter and miserable people don't want to work with happy people. So they decided, you know what, this is not for me. So they selected themselves out, right? So that saved us a lot. And from there, the first sentence is what redefined how we select people, okay? Because we select people for passion first, experience second. So we look for the passion first, and then we look at the experience. So it doesn't matter if it's an 18-year-old coming out of school, or if it's someone that has 30 years of experience. We look at the passion, the talent of the individual. So the Ritz-Carlton, the first sentence, the Ritz-Carlton is a place where the genuine care and comfort of our guests is our highest mission. So we say a place because we don't consider ourselves a hotel, we consider ourselves a lifestyle for people. We want to be part of people's lives. In fact, our tagline says, let us stay with you. Instead of you staying with us, let us stay with you. Meaning that we want to stay with you, and that's where the loyalty gets built. I know you're not in healthcare, but there's a great book out there in healthcare that says, the title is The Patient Will See You Now. Instead of the doctor will see you now, it's the patient will see you now. So it's a different mindset that, no, I'm not here to provide you a service, right? You are here because you're giving me the benefit to help you, right? So it's a different mentality around service. So that's where the genuine care comes in. The second sentence, the promise that we make. So we pledge to provide the finest personal services and facilities for our guests, who will always enjoy a warm, relaxed, yet refined dining. So that's creating a home away from home. Personal services and facilities, the one-on-one, the human being, the heart to another heart. You don't have to be in a Ritz-Carlton to enjoy that, right? Even a fast food operation can do that. When you think about fast food operations, which one stands out? It's more. Who's that Chick-fil-A? Why Chick-fil-A? And it's Travis. Why Chick-fil-A?
Thank you, you're welcome, things like that.
Chick-fil-A, and I'm not endorsing any companies here, but Chick-fil-A, who is their competition?
Nobody.
No, I mean, it's McDonald's, Burger King.
Yeah,
all of those are their competitors. Chick-fil-A pulls out from the same talent pool as everybody else does. But what they control is the cleanliness. Thank you. It's my pleasure. They'll walk out, right? Those are the etiquette and manners, and yet they stand out in a sea of sameness, all right?
Yeah, they do it though. I believe they force their owner operator to be there a certain amount of time. You have to, basically, if you buy into a Chick-fil-A as an owner, you have to really punch hard. You have to be there, I think, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You can take so many vacations your first year, and that way they can show you your best.
Yeah. You know what also Chick-fil-A does? We are part of the onboarding for all their leaders for the past 17 years. No, and they give us permission because they said, look, we're not going to be giving out champagnes to people and all that stuff, right? But we want to be the best of the best in the world that we operate. Same people, right? They just operate a little bit different. So this is where the third sentence comes in. So the Ritz-Carlton experience, right? Every day we are creating experiences. So the Ritz-Carlton experience enlivens the senses, instills the sense of well-being. And well-being is safety and comfort. And even fulfills the unexpressed wishes and needs of our guests. This is why the majority of our guests come back. I mean, let's face it. Do you see any different in our facilities from any other hotel down the street?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
The facilities? I'm not talking about the people.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of hotels out there that have very comfortable beds, beautiful chandeliers, they got a lot of that. But our guests, the main reason they come back is because of this, because of the unexpected. This is where we create memories. Give you an example of this. Bahrain, we have a property in Bahrain in the Middle East. We had a family there with their daughter Susie, 7 years old, the kid. When they came into the hotel, the daughter was crying. They checked in. The daughter was crying. They went up to the room. They came down to the restaurant. She's crying. They're at the restaurant eating. They're almost about to have dessert. She's crying. They went to the pool. The daughter is crying. So an employee got alarmed, right? It's not normal for a kid to be crying this much. Went to the parents and said, please forgive me. I've noticed that, your daughter Susie has been crying ever since you walked into the hotel. Is she okay? Can we do something to assist you? We want her to have a good time. This is a beautiful resort. And the dad said, oh, please don't worry about her. before we came here, she had a goldfish, and her goldfish unfortunately passed away the minute that we were leaving the door to come here on vacation, so she's very upset, she's sad about that. So the employee said, my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Maybe we can do something special for Susie. We don't want her to cry, maybe something to take her mind off the fish. And the dad said, oh, don't worry about it, it's just a fish. I'm over it, she can get over it whenever she wants to. She's not ruining my vacation. So that was the dad. Highly emotional, intelligent dad. So, they had a conversation, talked a little bit more. They went about their day in Bahrain. When they got back to the hotel, the daughter is still crying and upset. When they got into the room, there was a bowl with a goldfish alive. It would have been very morbid, years ago. They gotta survive. Can you imagine? We're funny, but not that funny. There was a goldfish inside. That employee had taken a picture of that goldfish, put it in a nice frame next to it, and then there was a handwritten note. I don't know how many of you do handwritten notes, but handwritten notes, they're very powerful. It's a shame we don't do them that often. I hope they never go away, but they are very, very powerful because you took the time to write something. But the handwritten note was from the fish because he had water on it. It said, Dear Susie, I am Ricky. I am Rocky's cousin. So he went as far as finding out what was the name of the fish that had passed away. And it said, although you think that Rocky passed away, he actually transformed into another animal's body. And he told me that you were going to be here on vacation, so I wanted to spend this time with you. And then it said, although I cannot go back home with you because Bahrain is my home, and you can't take that amount of liquids in a plane, it'll be like, it would explode, a double tragedy. Although I cannot go back home with you because Bahrain is my home, I have one of the employees take a picture of me so you can always remember me by. And then at the end it said, P.S. I have cousins all over the world. That's the psychology of service right there. How do you think that girl felt? How do you think she felt? Special, don't you think? Right? How do you think that dad felt?
We don't know. He's not emotionally intelligent.
Yeah. Here's the psychology of service, right? Number one, it's aspirational for them. I think that felt relieved, right? Now we can have a good vacation, right? Now we can enjoy our time. I feel relieved. But now that girl, the psychology of service here is now that girl, she wants to meet more cousins, right? So she goes to Cancun, right? She wants to be, Roberto, right? So this is where it's a personal reward service for our ladies and gentlemen, right? How much do you think that cost to make? I don't know what a goldfish costs in Bahrain. It's a pretty expensive city, so I don't know, $3, $4, $5? Do you know how much money that family is worth to us? Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. If you want a number, I think they are like 90,000 right now. But that takes something, so that's where the empowerment comes in. That's how we'll wrap it up today, right? That we give that permission to our ladies and gentlemen to do that.